God, a new Superman movie has come out where he's hopeful and kind, and most importantly, not British. God, thank you, James Gunn. Wait, I'm British? Unfortunately, I can't pirate the new one yet, so welcome to a bad recap of Man of Steel, a movie about an illegal alien who is hunted by the military. Like that would ever happen. If you enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. Please help me overtake my therapist in subscribers. Anyway, the movie starts on the planet Krypton with the birth of a child. Ew, that's gross. Drop it. Jor-El, the baby daddy, then visits the planet's council and begs them to please stop edging the planet because it's about to blow. But the Silver Strokers are playing ranked, so quitting is not an option. Their military leader, General Zod, then enters the chamber to peacefully challenge their authority.
I was lying.
He immediately overthrows the council and plunges their planet into civil war. He tries to get Jor-El to join him, but he's not really a big fan of genocide, so he leaves. He calls for his horse, that's a pretty fucked up looking horse, and heads to the Genesis chamber. It's kind of like a sweatshop, but instead of babies being the workers, they're the product. For the last few generations, Kryptonians have been grown instead of born, which is what makes this new baby's birth so important. You see, his parents had sex. Gross. Jor-El steals the Kryptonian Codex, the template for 3D printing babies, but he's cornered by Zod's forces who want it for themselves. God, don't worry, man, they're not gonna shoot at you. You're holding the DNA of their entire species. What the hell? He takes the Codex back to his house and infuses it into his son's body. Thank you, Zack Snyder, but I do not need to see his penis. To save him from the imminent destruction of their planet, they plan to send their son to a distant world, Earth. Jor-El crafts a command key thing that he throws into the pod, but while launching the craft, Zod and his forces arrive. They make their way inside and, oh holy aura farm. Zod is disgusted to learn that they've given birth to a gross and yucky child, and Jor-El tells his wife to launch the craft while he fends off Zod. What? I can't! Automatic Windows update! Eventually, the ship comes online, and Zod is forced to watch as it ascends into the atmosphere. At least he didn't overreact. His forces try to shoot down the craft. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's holding their entire genetic codex, but they're stopped by these space police who... Oh, holy hell. Is this entire planet just populated by aura farmers? The insurgents are sentenced to the Phantom Zone for the crime of not subscribing to this channel. And also genocide. Zod vows to find Jor-El's son and murder him, not a great thing to say whilst standing trial, before he and his crew are frozen in the penis pods and launched into the Phantom Zone. What is the Phantom Zone, I hear you asking? Black hole. Back on Krypton, they celebrate the arrest of these villains with giant fireworks. Wow, pretty colours. Guys, I think they may have set off too many fireworks. Guys, I don't think those were fireworks. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the baby ship blasts through a wormhole near Saturn. Wait, a wormhole near Saturn? I've seen this one before. And it goes on to crash land on Earth. Did anybody stamp his passports? But yeah, the baby's taken in by the Kents and grows up to be Clark Kent, who, thanks to Earth's yellow sun, gradually develops superpowers. His super hearing and X-ray vision manifest during class one day, and he finally experiences what it's like to try your first white monster. Speaking of which... Oh, yeah, I lied there, this is a beer. Guess I have to finish it now. His heightened senses overwhelm him and he runs off to hide in a cupboard, with the whole class following him. Guys, this isn't a group project. Let him have a panic attack in peace. Eventually, the school calls his mum, who helps him calm down and adapt to life with his new powers. He's raised with good morals, and table manners probably, but told to keep his powers secret, no matter how much he wants to help people. But one day, his school bus crashes into a river because the driver hated his job, and he uses his powers to push it to safety. Why didn't he just use super speed to drink all the water? Would have been cooler and less suspicious. He feels bad about revealing his powers to his schoolmates, but oh look, here comes his dad to console him.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
What the fuck? His dad then reveals his alien heritage, showing him the craft he arrived in as well as the command key, which is not made from any known Earth metal. He encourages Clark to one day find out who he is and why he was sent to this planet. But until then, to keep his powers hidden, because humanity isn't ready for such a Superman. Little joke for you guys there. Clark goes on to become a drifter. No, not a car driver, nor a Jaeger pilot. He's just a chill guy who travels around picking up random jobs. He helps people, aura farms, and then moves on while staying under the radar. He ends up working in a bar when he overhears some military guys discussing a mysterious object that's been discovered under the Arctic ice. Wow, nice job keeping things secret, guys. Somebody bring the firing squad. Before Clark leaves to check it out, he notices a waitress being harassed by a trucker who tries to pick a fight with Clark. Why would he do that? Is he stupid? But yeah, well done, Clark, for keeping your cool and not using your godlike strength to snap him in half. What the hell, Clark? Later, we see Lois Lane, a reporter, arrive at the Arctic military base, where they reveal they've discovered a massive object buried in the ice, something over 20,000 years old. That night, she goes out to take some pictures, and somehow spots Clark wandering around. Apparently, she follows him up the mountain and stumbles upon a freshly tunneled glory hole. You see, Clark has been strip mining. He makes his way through the ice and discovers a giant alien ship. Once aboard, he's assaulted by some security droid until he inserts his command key into a port. The ship systems come online and Clark spots a mysterious man wandering the ship's corridors. While he checks it out, we see that Lois has entered the ship. What? That's trespassing. Somebody attack her. Oh dear. Hearing the commotion, Clark rushes in and saves Lois by tearing the robot in half, kind of like an encounter between a toddler and a pit bull named Princess. He then notices that Lois is seriously wounded and claims he'll have to use his heat vision to cauterize it or she'll bleed out. He's like, "God, I need to stare at your chest or you'll die. I don't want to. But I have to. I just play the cards I'm dealt. I should probably mention I do have X-ray vision as well, but I promise not to peek." Once he's finished, he drops her off outside before the ship takes off and flies away. Lois writes an article about her encounter with Clark, but her editor refuses to publish it because he's a coward. So instead she asks an internet blogger to leak it online. This apparently is bad, but I didn't go to journalism school. I went to day drinking school. Or technically it was called Alcoholics Anonymous, but you get the idea. Meanwhile, the Kryptonian ship lands in some snow biome and Clark comes face to face with the bro, stop aura farming. The mysterious figure wandering the ship turns out to be Jor-El, or an artificial holographic projection thing of Jor-El, stored on Clark's command key like an AI girlfriend. Not that I know anything about that, but yeah, he created an AI version of himself. Bro thinks he's Cobblecop. Well, I'm sure he did the same with Clark's mum, right? Where is she? Jor-El gives him a bad recap of Krypton's past, how they attempted to spread out among the stars, terraforming planets and probably massacring native species. But once they started artificially growing babies, they had no need for these outposts. They returned to Krypton and, you know the rest, they edged too close to the sun and then went bust. Jor-El then encourages Clark to become a symbol for humanity, to help them grow as a species whilst avoiding the pitfalls that drove Krypton to a ruined finish. He presents him with a bright blue, or this is Snyder, so a deep, muted, muddy blue suit, adorned with the crest of the House of El, a symbol that represents hope. Clark puts on the suit and, oh, holy aura farm. Oh my god, it's everywhere. Jor-El explains how his Kryptonian genes thrive under Earth's lower gravity and richer atmosphere, and how Earth's bright yellow sun has made his muscles expand and get stronger. Don't believe him? Google Superman inflation. Jor-El tells Clark to keep pushing his limits, and we see as he attempts to fly. Wow, this scene is alright. There's something missing.
I need fucking hands. Hands, please. Fucking hands.
We then see that Lois has spent the last few weeks tracking Clark down, eventually making it to his mother's front door. Sure, when she does it, she's professional and a good reporter, but when I chase women home in the middle of the night, I'm dangerous and a plague on society. Anyway, she eventually comes face to face with Clark after visiting the grave of Jonathan Kent. That's right, Clark's father has died. I hope? A few years ago, the family were caught in a gigantic tornado, and they all had to run away to Martha, the dog. Don't leave him. After realizing they'd forgot their precious boy, Clark tries to go back, but his dad is selfish and can't stand sharing the glory. He tells Clark to fuck off while he saves the dog himself. But the tornado launches a car at him, causing his ankle to break after being trapped in a door. Watching this, Clark prepares to use his powers to save his father's life, and he's like, "Yes, son, come give me a high five." Why isn't he moving? Son? Awfully windy over here. Clark asks Lois to stop trying to write a story about him, because as his late father said, why isn't he giving me a high five? And also, the world just isn't ready to see what he can do. Of course, Lois has already leaked a story about him online, but oh well. Later, the Pentagon detect an alien craft locked in Earth's orbits. All across the world, lights go out, and Krypton's military leader, General Zod, broadcasts a message to humanity. Wow, I sure am glad Zod has learned fluent English. How? He demands that humanity hands over Kal-El, which is Krypton's Clark name. Nope, it's Clark's Krypton name, or he'll have no choice but to commit a few war crimes. This sends Earth into a panic as they scramble to find this mystery man living among them. But then, the internet blogger Guy goes on TV to reveal that Lois Lane has met him. F***ing snitch. The FBI rush to Lois's house to arrest her for reasons. God, this is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge? Talking to a man? A succulent alien man? Meanwhile, Clark has to decide whether to turn himself in. His father did warn him about General Zod, but if he remains hidden, he'll be putting all of humanity at risk. After a childhood flashback and a chat with a priest, he decides it's time for a leap of faith. He makes a casual entrance at the military base. No, he doesn't. A Kryptonian Uber arrives to take Clark up to the main ship, but they demand that Lois comes too. The other humans are like, no, but they don't actually have a choice, and the ship accelerates into the atmosphere. On board, Clark hands Lois his command key. That is not a euphemism, I promise, but for one of the Kryptonians gives Lois a breather, as the atmosphere aboard their main ship isn't compatible with human life. Eventually they arrive and Clark comes face to face with General Zod, but he quickly collapses and begins coughing up blood as his body isn't used to the atmospheric composition of Krypton. He passes out and wakes up in some dreamlike state, but one where Zod is also there and they can just chill? I don't know. Zod reveals that the destruction of Krypton freed them from the Phantom Zone. That is all the explanation you get. They then modified their ship and began travelling around to the old Kryptonian outposts, scavenging gear, watching a manhole cover shoot past at 125,000 miles an hour, and I guess finding food somewhere. I mean, they claim to have been doing this for 33 years, until eventually they detected a distress beacon from when Clark entered the old scout ship, leading them towards Earth. But actually, the distress beacon can't be travelling any faster than light, so I don't know how they received it so quickly, but good for them. Zod offers Clark the chance to rebuild Krypton, but he refuses after learning that Earth will be used as a foundation which would wipe out humanity. I mean, we could give them France at least, maybe even Slough. Clark then wakes up, strapped to a table. Kinky. The ship's atmosphere has rendered him powerless, allowing a guy to draw a sample of his blood. Lois, meanwhile, is thrown into a cell. Quite literally thrown into a cell. What's her problem? But in her cell there's a command key port, into which he puts Clark's key and uploads Jor-El to the system. What idiot decided to put command blocks in the prison cells? That's gonna be one stupid, dumb...
I designed this ship.
You deserve to die, you moron. Since he's tapped into the mainframe, he pulls the old switcheroo on the ship's atmosphere, modifying it to human compatibility. He guides Lois towards an escape pod, but it's damaged during her getaway, sending her tumbling towards Earth. Clark, meanwhile, has regained his strength due to the new atmosphere. He breaks off the table and comes face to face with his daddy, who encourages him to go save humanity. More specifically, to go save Lois, whose escape pod is careening towards the ground. Woman driver, am I right? He aura farms his way off the ship and flies toward the pod, catching it just in time and saving Lois, who he leaves in a cornfield. God, good idea. I'm sure she'll be safe there. Wait, what's that sound? Oh, Lois, get out of the way! Meanwhile, General Zod has arrived at the Kent household, where he demands that Martha surrender the location of the Codex. Of course, Martha has no idea what a Codex is. The only code she knows is code E Maverick from Surf's Up. Clark then arrives on the scene, tackling Zod and throwing him through a few buildings. Oh, hell yeah. Superman committing property damage. This is totally in character. The explosion damages Zod's helmet, which leaves his senses overwhelmed in what we now call the White Monster effect. A dropship arrives to escort him to safety, whilst Clark has to take on 2 Kryptonian warriors. The military then arrive on scene, and since Clark desecrated a sacred American landmark, they consider all 3 Kryptonians as targets. Clark gets just absolutely bodied by the 2 warriors, mainly since he spends the entire fight trying to save humans. Gotta get your head in the game, man. Eventually, one of the warriors is knocked out by a missile after trying to aura farm. I swear these Kryptonians need to chill. She's escorted back to a dropship while the military begin to engage Clark. But after watching him risk his life to protect theirs over the past 10 minutes, they finally realise that maybe, just perhaps, perchance, he's not their enemy. Oh, congratulations, guys. Clark heads back to his mum's house, and is that a car in the roof? Can't park there, love. Back aboard the Kryptonian ship, they discover the true location of the Codex. After analysing Clark's blood, they realise that Jor-El never simply placed the Codex in his son's escape pod. No, babies are stupid. Clark would have just tried to eat it. Instead, he fused the Codex directly into Clark's DNA, meaning that to extract it, they had to harvest it from his cold, dead body. Zod then orders the deployment of their World Engine, a giant machine designed to terraform a planet and turn it into Krypton. It crashes into the Indian Ocean, while the main ship positions itself on the direct opposite side of the planet, over the city of Metropolis. The machine activates, firing concentrated gravity pulses between the 2 ships, crippling Earth with repeated gravitational backshots. Meanwhile, Clark and Lois arrive at the military base. Clark is there because he's Superman, and Lois is there for vibes. They brought with them Clark's original escape pod, which is powered by a phantom drive, just like Zod's ship. If the 2 drives were to collide, they'd create a singularity that would suck the Kryptonians back into the Phantom Zone. So Clark would have to destroy the World Engine in the Indian Ocean, deactivating the gravity pulses, and giving the military a clear shot to drop his escape pod onto Zod's ship. They proposed this plan to the military, who were like, "Goh, you had me at drop a bomb over a civilian population." Meanwhile, Zod heads to the scout ship Clark found earlier in the movie. He takes off his mask and attunes to his heightened senses in mere seconds, as opposed to several years, because he's so Sigma. He heads inside and installs his own command key, de-opping Jor-El, who begs him to please not commit genocide against an entire planet. But he's like, "No, I have to do this. If we don't terraform, we'll have to adapt to Earth's climates. Bro, there's like 5 of you, it's a minor inconvenience." He then hits Jor-El with an Alt F4. I don't know if this matters at all. I guess he's been deleted from the ship, but I think he's still hanging out in Clark's command key like a Pokemon. I don't know. Back in Metropolis, the military is patiently waiting for Superman to destroy the World Engine. As with the gravity pulses active, they can't get anywhere near Zod's ship. I wonder what could possibly be taking him so long. God damn it, he's aura farming! Summoning all his strength, he flies directly through the gravity beam and destroys the World Engine. With the gravity pulses gone, the military finally line up the drop, but are ambushed by Zod in the scout ship. He prepares to fire on the plane, but Superman bursts through the hull. Ever heard of a door? Idiots. Wait, you were just in the Indian Ocean. How are you here already? He blasts the ship with his heat vision, forcing it to crash and clearing the way for the military. Another Kryptonian then boards the plane to try and prevent the pod from being dropped, so the captain just nosedives into the ship. The collision creates a singularity that sucks in the Kryptonians, their ship, the military, but not Lois, who tagged along on this mission for reporter reasons, I guess. She falls towards the city because she's too heavy for the black hole or something, but Superman catches her and, now they're being pulled by the black hole, okay. They land amidst the rubble and destruction and share a kiss. Thousands of people have died, guys, maybe read the room. But yeah, it's over. The Kryptonians are gone and there's no more opportunities to aura farm. Psych! Zod emerges from the wreckage, enraged with Clark for not letting him commit a planet-wide genocide and preventing the rebirth of Krypton. I mean, I still see 2 fertile Kryptonians left. What's the issue? The 2 engage in a ferocious battle, throwing each other through buildings and creating just so much property damage. But all the while, Clark tries to protect humans. Look, watch him catch this lorry. Bro, quit aura farming, people are dying! Zod then tears off his Kryptonian battle armor. Why? I don't know. But the battle continues through the city, causing like at least 50 9/11s worth of damage. They then take the battle into space where they destroy a satellite. Where'd my internet go? They take the battle back to Earth, crashing into Metropolis. Again? Has this poor city not gone through enough? They land in a train station, where Zod unleashes his heat vision upon an innocent family, who just stand there. Leave, guys, what are you doing? Lois arrives on the scene. Wait, Lois? What the... How the hell did she... Whatever. And she watches as Clark is forced to snap Zod's neck to save the family.
Oh, but surely instead he could have just, you know, bloop, 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 hand in front of face, look, laser beam's gone. Or instead he could have like, bloop, 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 Cyclops laser beam proof glasses. You slap them on and you're good to go.
And Lois embraces Clark as he screams out in pain, horrified at what he did. Days later, he throws a $12 million surveillance drone at the feet of a general, explaining how he's friendly and just wants to help. I'm sure there were less expensive ways to get that across, like a card or a video call, perhaps. I mean, who's going to end up paying for that destroyed drone? Not me, because I don't pay my taxes.
What are you smiling about, Captain?
Nothing, sir. I just think he's kinda hot.
Oh, get in line, Captain. Clark then goes to visit his mum and says how he wishes his dad was still around to see the man that he's become. But she's like, hey, don't worry about it. He saw it. He saw it all. Oh, look at that adorable little Clark pretending to be Superman.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Clark then decides it's time to get a job. Sorry if that phrase triggered you. And he settles on becoming a reporter at the Daily Planet, working alongside Lois Lane. Wait, what? She recognizes him? But the glasses? How? And the movie ends. Great movie. I enjoyed the part where Superman aura farmed during an extinction level event, and my favorite character was easily the Bar Buddies, because they're literally me. But yeah, if you enjoyed this recap, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. Thank you ever so much for watching.